Hello, everybody, and welcome to this week's episode of Magically Cruising, the cruise podcast where we share our personal cruise tips and reviews to help you make the most out of your next sailing. My name's Kieran. I'm an independent travel agent specializing in all things cruise, Disney, and North America, and I'm joined by my fellow co-host.
Hi, I'm Sarah, and I write about travel over at Cruising with Kids and Mini Travelers.
And today, Sarah, what we thought we'd do, because we keep having this conversation, don't we, about kind of how big is too big and how small is too small, and we've got personal preferences on what we think is too big and too small, but I think it's just to have a general conversation. And we don't really have a plan of what we want to get out of this episode. It's just to have a conversation about big ship versus small ship. What is too big? What is too small? Do you like them? Do you not like them? Just because it comes up all the time, doesn't it? When you chat to people of, oh, I wouldn't go on that ship, it's too big, or I wouldn't go on that ship, it's too small type of thing. So do you have any immediate strong thoughts or feelings on kind of what you thought you would prefer?
I think I've changed completely this year. The biggest ship I'd ever been on was Oasis Overseas, which I loved, but I felt there wasn't enough pool space, definitely.
Yeah.
I talked about this in the episode.
Yeah.
There's only 2 pools, they're packed, we didn't go round, and there's not many places to sunbathe. If you go away from it, and if you've got a balcony, you're fine, but I found that a bit restrictive on the outside decks. So we've always sailed on the smaller ships, and we loved Mariner this year. And at the end of last year, we went on Oasis Overseas, and I felt like it was a massive risk. But we booked a suite thinking we can get away from it all. We've got a private area. And I absolutely fell in love with that grade of ship, class of ship, because actually there's more pool space, there's more places to sit. I know we're on a transatlantic, which is a bit different, but you could never not find anywhere to sit. There was always space around the pool. So you had all these different areas. Again, going back to the same old thing that I always say and that we agree on is that Royal Caribbean channel people so well that the ships just don't feel. I mean, they're obviously in the July holidays, it's going to be a different feeling, but 99% of the time, I was definitely in camp, don't want to go on a big ship. And I had no interest on ever of going on, say, Wonder of the Seas, or I was intrigued, but now I would, because I think after doing Oasis, these big ships also have got big spaces and lots of areas. And so, it's changed my mind a lot. Saying that, I loved river cruising for the reason that was tiny. So, what are your thoughts?
Well, this is the thing. I think at the moment I'm quite firmly in. I prefer kind of the mid-size up size of ship type of thing. I've rarely done a small ship. The smallest ship I've done would have been the Ambassador sailing we did together on Ambience, was it, or Ambition? Sorry, we did, wasn't it? And it's not that I had a bad time. It just lacked what I enjoy on a cruise ship, which is just kind of like multiple venues and bars to kind of go to. So you can have maybe a night in 1 or 2 different bars. If you're in the mood for something a bit louder, you've got a quieter bar. I like multiple dining options. You kind of can, whether it's a specialty versus main dining. I just love kind of having choice of venue and space type of thing. So if you want somewhere quiet to hide away, there's choices rather than just go to the library and then in the evening, all you've got is kind of the lounge or the bar. So I think I'm definitely in camp mid-size up. One thing we talked about briefly before the episode started is there is also a big difference as well between kind of mid-size ships, even on not necessarily, size of ship, but just occupancy rates on ships as well, which we'll touch on later on, I guess, but it's just that can also play a big part of it. And I think one of the reasons why I've fallen in love with maybe Virgin Voyages, for example, is they are classed as a mid-size ship compared to like the Oasis of the Seas, but they don't stack the occupancy rate up. So, one brand, say same size ship, could have 4,000 people, whereas Virgin is 2,700 a maximum type of thing. So you get a much kind of bigger sense of space per guest type of thing. And I kind of like that happy medium as well, where I'd happily pay a little bit more to be on a ship there's more space per person, as well as also being a slightly bigger ship than small.
Yeah, because we're sailing on Celebrity Apex this year, so I thought Mariner was a small ship, which for Royal Caribbean is an older ship. It is smaller, 4,000 occupancy. But then Apex, which is a newer celebrity ship, and that's 2,900. So we're going to get on there and we're going to feel like we're on a river cruise because
abundance of space, and it makes such a big difference to kind of your enjoyment anyway, for me personally anyway. And I think it's that happy medium between having enough choice of venues but also having enough space per guest type of thing. And I've luckily not been on I say that Princess. I went on Princess and I was on Sky, and she's a big ship. She's not as big as the mega ships type of thing, but she is a big ship, but she can handle, I think, 4,000 people. And on the pool days, especially, I felt the pinch on Princess, just because there was a lot of people on that ship, and everyone was clamoring for kind of to be around the pool area so they could watch the kind of movies on the big giant screen type of thing. There wasn't a much choice of kind of outdoor space. You had that or the back of the ship, and I didn't like the back of the ship because that's where the smoking area is as well. So it wasn't as nice to kind of sit by the pool at the back where you could the occasional waft of smoking type of thing. If you're not a fan of smoking anyway, I didn't like that.
Yeah, on Princess, we paid for is it the retreat?
Yes, the sanctuary, isn't it?
Sanctuary, yeah, it's retreat on P&O, isn't it? We paid for that. Just thought, look, I took one look at the pool and said, I am not. It's in there. So we went up and paid for that, and that was idyllic, and that's the sort of pool I want. And it sounds ridiculous, but when we was on Oasis of the Seas, because we had friends that cruised on another cruise line, which I'm not going to start that whole can of worms again today. But they always cruise celebrity, went on this other cruise line and weren't fans, and it was because there was just like the pools were packed. So the whole time we were on Oasis, Chris was sending them pictures of spare seats around the pool, and they were every day. Look at these, look, an abundance of seats. And we had some really nice days on that transatlantic, but because you've got all these other areas, and probably the same on Virgin, not everybody's clambering for the pool.
Exactly. Yeah, definitely. I think, like, I can speak for Virgin's example. You've got like the dock at the back of the ship as well. So that's totally away. It's like, 7 decks away from the main pool area. But then you've also got the athletic club, which is at the back of the ship as well at the top. So that's an outdoor area. Then you've got the perch, which again is a sunbathing deck. Then you've got kind of multiple layers of the pool area. Then if you're lucky enough to be staying rockstar level, you've got the suite area as well. There's also areas on the promenade at the bottom on the sides where they've got giant comfy seats. There's loads of spaces you can go into, and they're all spread out. So it's not like you're just kind of clamoring for that one sun area, the one pool area, and that's it. And I think, again, that's testament to modern cruise design as well, where they kind of do factor into that, whereby you kind of, spread out a little bit. You're not all just kind of going to the one pool deck and making the most out of it.
So what do people do or ask when they come to book with you? Do they have a preference, or do they come with a brand? Because I mean, I know in our Facebook group this week, and we've hit 10,000 members this week for any families that want tips on cruising, and it's really good because it's not us as we do chip in, but it's parents that cruise. So there's not, we don't post many posts in, and unless it was answering a question, it's not about advertising, it's about parents supporting each other. But there's been a lot of questions this week, and I've been surprised at how many new cruisers have posted asking. I've no idea. I mean, some people, will I get a cruise at Easter? No.
Or a cold one. It's a funny one because I don't think people know what's possible. I don't think people realize until they've done a bit of research, just kind of the different sizes of ships. I think when people don't know ships or cruises or brands, they don't have a division in their head of how big a ship could be or what the difference is between a large or a small ship. Most of the ships I think people will think of are going to be the larger size of ships, just because they're the ones that get the attention at the moment. For us close to home, that's going to be the likes of P&O with Iona and Avia. They're obviously the darlings at the moment that P&O are promoting. MSC are going to be promoting Virtuosa, or that Grandiosa, maybe for the American listeners. It's the same class of ship type of thing. We're getting these large 5,000 plus ships. They're going to be the headline ships. We've had Anthem of the Seas sailing recently with Royal Caribbean locally. Again, that's a Quantum class ship. She's going to be 4,000 plus. Princess, they tend to put Sky from the UK 4,000 plus. So I think most people from the UK, if they're new to cruise, are probably going to be gravitating towards one of the newer ships, which are likely to be classed as towards the upper end of large ships in the UK now, or by more modern cruise standards. I think it's only really mature sailors, and I say this with all the love in the world, but it's, I think, seasoned, mature sailors who will then start to develop a preference. They will be the ones that will kind of go like, I've done a big ship. I loved it. It was nice. I had no issues with it, but I think I want something a bit more intimate. Or possibly what they'll say is, I want to go to ports that a smaller ship can get into. I think that's normally where people will start to specifically ask about big ship versus small ship type of thing. For a first-time cruiser, unless they've got a very harsh negative opinion of the Oasis class or the Icon class, and they go, that's too big for me, it's rare will it come up as a conversation. They're more interested in the facilities and the brand and the kind of entertainment, kids clubs or dining, than the particular size. Is normally down the line size comes in as a conversation.
But that's what really surprised me about Oasis, because I was never, I weren't bothered for going on it, and then I booked because the suite was a great deal. But what blew me away, and we met these, Donna and Darren met them on a previous cruise, and they were always in Vintage's wine bar. That was their spot.
My kind of people.
American, they were lovely, lovely people, and they'd play. I mean, that was the only place we ever saw them. I don't know if ever went. They must have gone other places. I think they did specialty dining all the time. They were mainly on the, like, where we saw them. They mainly on Central Park, and they'd play cards in the day. I mean, I don't know what else they did, because like we would always chat to them there, and I'd ask them about their life in America, because that's more interesting than where else do you go on the ship. But yeah, so they had their spot where we were more boardwalk, because obviously sports, and Chris can't go in, you know, within 10 meters of a sports television. You have to know where the nearest is. So everybody gets their own area, and it just blew me away that I'm now thinking, when we go on Explorer, which I know I'm going to love because it's the same as Mariner, but I'm thinking, oh my God, it ain't going to have all those areas.
Yeah. It's funny, isn't it? When you get used to kind of being on the kind of the newer, bigger ships, you get so used to being spoiled for choice. And then that becomes part of the fear, because I equally have it as well. We're having the same conversation about Disney. We want to do another Disney cruise, and we're going, let's do the Treasure, because she's newer, she's bigger, she's got all these great little venues. We done the Magic, we did a transatlantic on the Magic, had a lovely time, but it's just a prime example of the Magic has 3 adult evening lounges. One of them is a piano lounge. The other one's like a multi-function space, and the other one's a bar type of thing. Whereas the Treasure has countless bars, like 7 or 8 bars type of thing. When you've gone to a ship that has like multiple choices for evening drinking, then to kind of go, oh, well, let's go with the smaller ship type of thing. It's tough to let go of that once you've been spoiled by choice type of thing. And the Magic is, by today's standards, quite a small ship now. I think she's like 1,800. So she's quite small. Disney have just announced, actually, they're building a new class of ship now. They're building more ships again, but they're announcing another class after the Wish class that's going to be bigger than the Magic and the Wonder, but smaller than the Dream of the Fantasy. So they're going to be kind of smaller than the current fleet, at least anyway. There are rumors about could they retire, unfortunately, the Magic and the Wonder, just because they are coming to 30 years old now, and that's the average lifespan of a leisure cruise type of thing, which will be a shame to see those really small ships go by today's standards. But there is demand growing, I think, isn't there, for more and more brands to kind of start building small ships, because we've had a big ship boom. And I think Royal, especially on it, they're considering building what they would call a small ship anyway.
It must be, there is a new one, isn't there? It's going to be smaller, because I've read about it.
There's talks. They haven't announced anything. I believe it's called the Explorer class at the moment.
And then obviously Celebrity. I mean, there's celebrity news this week.
I was going to say that took me completely. I was like, what happened? I literally just come off a call with a customer, and I was like, celebrity cruise lines are going into the river cruise market. Never in a million years on my bingo card.
That's exciting, because that means, I mean, are your perks going to carry over? But then
apparently so, yeah.
Is it going to be like all river cruising, where it's one with food, and is it going to be that concept? What is the price point going to be like?
That's the bit that I'm interested in. Not that I want to dwell on this, because we could do a whole other episode on this. I think is quite an exciting topic, but definitely my initial first thoughts on it. The press release does say that their loyalty program will follow you onto the River product as well, which I think is quite an interesting take, because a lot of River doesn't currently go for the very ocean heavy loyalty program, where you kind of have different tiers, and depends on which tier you're in is what extra drinks you get and all that type of stuff. So it'll be interesting to see how that translates to River perhaps. But also, it's such an aggressive entry into the River market to purpose-build 10 ships at launch. That's a bold, aggressive statement. And I did say to a couple of my friends in the industry, I think there are going to be a few other river cruise companies who are going to be having a bit of a panic that Royal Caribbean as a corporation are going to be plowing the amount of money they're about to plow into the river industry.
And it's not only that, it's like, because I think you're looking at Celebrity, Silversea, all that, they're their core demographic that will graduate towards them. And they're now saying, come with us, you can have your loyalty.
Exactly. Yes. Yeah,
I'm then going to go, well, I'm going to go with Celebrity because I get my loyalty.
It makes perfect sense. So we've in the industry joked all the time, like, what if Virgin Voyages did River? How could they do River? It'd be quite exciting to see what they would do. But there's a certain appeal to kind of that cross contamination. Generally, river customers and ocean customers don't tend to overlap. There's like this Venn diagram of hardcore ocean, hardcore river, and then there's a middle section where some do both. I think obviously what celebrity are probably seeing, they're pooling their customers, and the type of customers that celebrity have tend to be kind of the more ones who want to explore, and they're the ones who do kind of want to see the different ports and different parts of the world type of thing and explore them in new ways. So I think there's a big overlap between kind of the type of customers who book celebrity cruises and the type of customers who book river. They're probably seeing a lot of their customers do go for a river cruise every other year, and they're probably going, well, we're missing out on that year's worth of business. Let's fill that gap at the end of the day. And yeah, it is exciting and interesting, and I can't wait to see the design they bring to it, because they're talking about turning river on its head, which I don't want to slate the river industry. The river industry is wonderful. I love river cruising, but the ships are the ships. They're built pretty much the same. They're all laid out the same. They just do their own different overlays and decor on them. So it'll be interesting to see if Celebrity do come with, you know, the game-changing Edge series mentality like they're saying they're going to do, and completely turn river on its head.
It'll be amazing. I reckon it'll be price pointed, aimed at retreat guests.
I do wonder. I don't know. That's the thing. They've not said anything more. They said more to come soon, but it'll be interesting to see type of thing if they do go that high end and, you know, target maybe the more Ammo Waterways and Avalon Waterways, you know, top premium all inclusive customers, or are they going to kind of try and go for kind of that entry level 5-star with options for retreat level? But how does that work on a ship where there's only not even 100 cabins, there's like 80 cabins or so, isn't there, on a river ship?
Yeah, it's exciting. As always, we digress. Well, it is. It's a small ship.
But that goes to say as well, like, it's not that I have a problem with small ship cruising, because I love river cruising. I definitely love, like, and I can deal with it on a river ship. I don't know why when it comes to ocean, I think when I think of ocean, I think of kind of the grander, larger scale personally. So I love the big main theater. I love kind of a bit of a night lounge type of thing. I love a quiet, chilled out lounge. I like a concept lounge as well. So those ships like Princess, where they have like the jazz lounge that you can go to. So if you're not in the mood for kind of, you know, the whatever music they're playing in the main bar, you've got a jazz bar you can go into for maybe a pre-dinner drink or two. I love those different spaces, you know, Princess Live, where you've got like live quizzes as well type of thing. So you can just have a little, they're not feeling the vibe in this one, or I'm not a Beatles fan, so I'm not going to stay for the Beatles quiz. You can then go somewhere else. Whereas if you're on a ship and it's kind of like the lounge is the only sole entertainment, I'm talking more the smaller brands like Azamara I'm talking about now, kind of, you know, I'm not knocking them. They're wonderful. Just, I personally think I would struggle where the one lounge has a singer and I'm not in the mood to listen to that singer because they're not singing what I like type of thing. And then there's nowhere else really to go other than maybe sit in the foyer or in, you know, I like the fact that bigger ships do offer that. There's different spaces. You can watch a theatre show. You can pop to the cinema, maybe, you know, all that type of stuff.
Yeah, go to the pub, go to a Latin lounge, piano singer. There's just sports bar. Honestly, I love having that choice. I really, really do.
Yeah.
And I mean, our friends that cruised with us at Easter, wasn't it? No, yeah, April this year. I mean, they've rebooked for next year already because they loved it. Now, then they've not done big ship yet, but I think they're just looking forward to cruising again, and then maybe they'd step up. But we've just got friends that have just got off of Celebrity Millennium, and they've done Japan. Had the cruise of a lifetime, loved it, and it was incredible.
Really?
But he said, interestingly, and that they've, apart from only going on one ship that was really big, that was a different brand, they're Celebrity Cruises. And he really likes the small Celebrity ship. He said, I loved the smaller ship. So it is interesting, isn't it?
I think there's no right or wrong. I think this is where the gist of this conversation was trying to get to, I think, or where we were talking about it. I get really irritated when people kind of attack somebody else for liking a different type of ship. So when you see pictures of, and it's the classic thing, you see the Titanic and you see the Oasis class or the Icon class, and people are like bemoaning about how disgusting this is, and it's a big floating awful resort and there's no personality to it or anything like that. And it's like, no, not at all. Just because it's not right for you, you're not a fan of those big multi-venue ships with, you know, water slides and all that type of stuff, doesn't mean somebody else wouldn't find that heaven on earth. They would absolutely love that with their family, and to have rock climbing, to have water slides and dry slides and ice skating rinks and all that type of stuff. That is the ultimate family holiday for that person. If you prefer a small ship at 700 capacity, you know, you're looking at a couple of hundred cabins and it goes off to some really small port in the middle of Croatia that nobody's ever heard of. If that's your idea of heaven, that's great as well. That for me, but while I'd love the port experience, I don't think I would enjoy the ship experience. There's no right or wrong. It's just
No.
about finding what's right or wrong for you as a sailor or as a customer type
Yeah.
of thing that you would enjoy personally. And I just get really defensive or protective of people who are being attacked for just enjoying what they happen to like in the cruise industry.
I suppose it's the same as like when our kids were little. We'd started cruising, but it was a once a year, once every other year thing. But we also did all inclusive holidays because with kids that was easy. But when I clicked on them and looked at them, or it's back in the day when there was a brochure, um, straight if it said one restaurant, I'd be turning the page off, flicking on because I don't wanna go somewhere with
Really?
only one restaurant, and it's the
Yeah.
same concept, isn't it? Options, and I think with these ships with all these options, the great thing is, if you don't want to see the kids, you don't have to,
Yeah.
and it's
Yeah.
like, if you don't wanna do fine dining and if we're in I don't know, I mean, it's very much more relaxed now, isn't it? But still a celebrity. I've just been reading today that they don't like you to wear shorts still in the restaurants. If you don't wanna do that, go the buffet.
Yeah.
So you've
Yeah.
got
Yeah.
options. Like, I'm never gonna go to the buffet for dinner, ever in a million years,
Yeah.
never, because I like getting dressed up and I'd look like a muppet in the buffet in a dress and heels. So I like to sit down and be served. It I don't I too many choices, it stresses me out in the buffet. But I'm not saying the food's bad, it's just not for me, but that is the
Yeah.
great thing about having all these different options everywhere that you can
Absolutely.
go,
Yeah.
I'll do this," and that works for everybody so that you're away from what you wanna avoid almost, which
Absolutely.
if for these people that not moan, but doubt the big ships, if you don't wanna see the kids, you ain't gonna see the kids because the kids are all in the
Yeah.
kid areas,
Yeah.
and they
Yeah.
don't wanna come away from those areas because 'cause they're so amazing.
That's the thing, and it's everyone's got a space as well, and like
Yeah.
I think that's the one thing as well. People misunderstand about the larger ships as well because they cater so well to different types of people because they have so
Mm.
much choice. Everyone's spread out. It's not like you're all just
Yeah.
sat like on a pool day, like because everyone sees the icon of the seas and they go 7,000 people. It's like that's a maximum occupancy. That's every single bed, berth, hammock full. Like is really sailing at that occupancy. Doesn't often sail at that occupancy rate. It's selling incredibly well, but it's not like all 7,000 of those people are in the theater at the same time. You know, they're not all dining in the buffet at the same time. You know, there's multiple restaurants, multiple bars, there's adult only bars, there's kids clubs, there's kids areas, kids pools, there's suite
Mm.
areas. Everyone is spread out in their own little private haven type of thing. You could still have that small ship experience. You just get to have it in multiple spaces on board type of thing, just by one night. As you say, the sports bar could be your quiet lounge that you go
Mm.
into. Somebody else is in the nightclub in what's it called, the music venue, I forget what it's called, music hall. It's just music hall,
Musical,
isn't it?
yeah. Musical, yeah.
You know, listen to a live band type of thing, and they'll be there every night. You'll never see them because they're there every night. They love watching the live
Yeah.
band, whereas I get a bit overwhelmed by a live band all day, every day type of thing that I could do like half hour and I'd be like, had enough now. I need to go to somewhere a bit quieter and sit on the promenade maybe, and you know, sit in Schooner's bar and maybe listen to a piano playing type of thing rather than that full on loud venue loud music.
Mm. That's it, and then you got the casino, that's a whole new not a whole new because it's always been there, but it's
Mm,
like a whole 'nother thing that like, we like to go and spend an hour in the casino and then go off and have a drink but I mean, for me as well, I love theatre. Now, when I was with Donna, it was brilliant because we went 'cause but Chris doesn't like theatre, hates it, fell asleep at Hamilton,
yeah.
that's how much he's and Mary Poppins, he's just
Really?
I've banned him. He's not allowed to go with me because I get too embarrassed. Snoring through Hamilton. I whacked him. I was livid. Um, so he's banned. So when we're on a ship, because I go to the theatre so much at home, I don't feel like I have to do that.
Yes.
But
Yeah.
but our friends equally that have just come back, he'd go off and have a drink, and she'd go to the theatre. So you've got choices, even as a couple, you've got choices.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. And you know, we do it all the time as well. Like we work quite similar. Me and Phil, we like to do the same types of stuff. We'll
Mm,
quite happily go watch a show, and then we'll happily kind of go sit and do a bit of a pub crawl or a bar crawl type of
mm,
thing. We love that thing more than that. It's when it gets really late is where we differ. I either I'm having the best night ever and I'm closing the nightclub down, or I'm like, it is 12:30, I'm bored. I'm ready to go to bed. And then Phil's normally like, I'm staying up then. I'm all right, off you go. But again, you can do that. That's the joy
mm.
of cruising in general. But yeah, we're quite similar on that regard, which I'm quite lucky about.
And do you know what? I'm never even aware of the nightclub. I mean, Donna got me in there one night on the last cruise. I was like, "Get me out of here," because I'm not a nightclub person.
Still, always guaranteed I'll know where the nightclub is on every. And
Yeah,
I am a big club fan. I did have a
yeah,
very
I'm
like
not.
prevalent nightclub lifestyle as a kid. I say a kid, like in my early years. It does make or break a cruise line for me because I've been on, say, Princesses, whereby the nightclub is in the music lounge, and the type of music they're playing is just not my vibe whatsoever. Like, and
Mm.
I've just sat there in the corner, the grumpiest person on the planet, because it's just like wedding discos, like really bad
Yeah.
wedding discos. People are loving life, so great. It's
Mm.
not my personal speed. But if that was the only nightlife on a ship, trust me, I would want to be booking to get off. I would be leaving the ship for every night because I can't cope 7 nights of having just bad wedding band DJ music every night. We like Disney was the prime example of it as well. We used to joke about the nightlife on Disney. Come 11 p.m., dead, ship's dead. We
Mm.
booked on knowing it, so we didn't go in expecting Disney to have like a happening 2 a.m. nightlife on board Disney Cruise Line. Like we never expected it. But yeah, the night there is literally like they wheel out the cruise, one of the cruise entertainment staff with like a DJ stand, and he just sits there and plays music from his laptop in like the adult lounge, and there's like 6 people dancing. We knew going on we weren't going to be in the nightclub all night type of thing, but it's just great that there's other things that we booked Disney for, not the
Mm.
nightlife.
So I'm guessing you're not a silent disco fan then, because I love it. I love the silent disco, but it is
I don't know what it
cheese.
is about it. Like it just brings out its inherent rage in me type of thing. I don't know what
Oh,
it
I
is.
love it. I love it.
Yeah. I like watching people doing silent disco, definitely. Like
It's
I've sat there a couple of
hilarious.
times there, but I get bored and I turn the channel constantly. I don't make it to the end of any one song. I'm like, oh,
Yeah,
what's
I'm
on the
like
country
that.
one? What's on the jazz one? It's constantly. But I have a short tolerance for like a silent disco. It's novelty for about 10 minutes, and I'm
Oh,
like,
no, I love
I'm
it.
bored now. Get me out
And
of
then
here.
when somebody goes, and then blue, 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 it's like, what is it? Oh no, back to red. Just love it.
I've seen people though get proper feral for a silent disco. Like as soon as they see in the
Oh,
schedule, like silent disco, oh my, and they're there the second they're grabbing their headsets and like they're there until closing with the silent disco. Some
oh,
people love it. Yeah.
yeah, we love it. Well, I know I'm not going to say Chris because he did it under duress this time, but he did enjoy himself. But me and all 4 of us, I mean, it's just brilliant. We're so much fun. But and that's the thing. It's all the different things to do now. Us all ships do that now, don't they? I tell you what I really liked on Iona, and I'm not a big P&O person. I liked it. I went on and thought, this is amazing. I love
Yeah.
it. But I've just
Yeah.
never felt inspired to go back on. I think it's because it was out of Norway. If it was somewhere sunny, I'd have been more
Mm,
excited, maybe.
mm.
But Norway was beautiful, but just not warm.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
there's what you've been on Iona, haven't you?
No, I haven't actually. I've
Oh,
never sailed P&O. I know I went to do a ship visit once and then I had to cancel it last minute, but it's on my plan to get on a P&O ship
there
soon.
is off the main. Somebody will know this that says it because I can't describe it very well. But off the main central thing, what's it called?
Yeah, the atrium
Promenade,
area. I
no,
forgot what it's called, but
atrium. That's the elf.
yeah.
There's like a comedy club, and that was brilliant. That had bands on. But
Yeah.
it was tiny, so that's cute to get in. But P&O is a prime example. 11 o'clock, that's it. They're mopping the floors.
Really?
And I went with my friend on that, and we'd be like, "Oh, let's go and have a drink." And oh,
Yeah.
yeah, all the
See,
bars are
one that
shut.
interests me, and it's one that I've not sailed on personally, but I'm getting more and more intrigued by is NCL because I think their nightlife concept, it really
Mm,
appeals to me type of thing. To have themed and concept bars type of thing, I think that would
yeah,
really appeal to me. You've done NCL kind of thing. Is it very much that type of,
yeah.
there are
Done it
lots of
3
different spaces
times.
and venues?
Yeah, I mean, you wouldn't like the cavern. It's
Is
the
that the Beatles
Beatles,
one? Yeah.
but it's brilliant. Oh, it's brilliant. I mean, we took friends that are diehard Beatles fans, and I thought they're just going to roll their eyes and say it's cheese. They were there every night, loved it
Mm,
because it's so
mm,
good, the atmosphere. But then you've got the oh, is it the Social, which is the nightclub? So
mm.
you've actually got a nightclub in the middle. You've got a bar. Look, I say a bar. Of course, there's bars. There's bars everywhere. But
Yeah.
you've got like a cocktail bar. You'd like that with like all this smoking old fashioned and.
Do you
But
get
then
me?
they've
Like, that's what appeals to me. Is
cocktails.
the fact there's
Yeah,
lots of like the ship visit I did, and I can't remember the name of the ship, and they always tell me off NTL for forgetting. But I like that there was loads of different bars. There's like
yeah.
this lobby bar almost, so like they're in the main lobby area. There are some that
Mm,
are part of restaurants. So the ship I went on, there was a bar literally between the 2 different restaurants. You could go into the 2 main dining rooms. There was a whole bar area there, and the casino bar. It just feels like there's bars
mm,
everywhere. So if you wanted like the vibes not working in one venue, you can just go to another one and just kind of see what the atmosphere is like. I like that idea. That's what I
yeah.
enjoy. So if like one bar's either too loud, I can go somewhere and find a quieter
Mm,
bar, or if the atmosphere is flat, like you just sat there and you're like, oh, nobody's talking and there's no atmosphere, or let's go see what the casino bar is doing. I was going to say earlier on, if you want the best ship gossip, you want to know kind of what the vibe is on the ship or any gossip or any drama, hang out at the casino bar. Because honestly, that's where all the gossips go. I know this from first-hand experience because it's usually me. But that is the best place to get all the ship gossip. If you want to know the drama about what's happening on the ship, casino bar is the best place to hang out.
See, I've never stood at the casino bar because I go get a drink and then we go on roulette or something. And then
I
once
don't know.
we've done that, we leave.
Yeah,
So
I
we'll be
don't
at
know
the
what it is about
table.
casino bars. Honestly, it's where I think it's where the characters tend to hang out. The ones who like to have a bit of a chat and a bit like
Yeah.
I don't know what it is. Something about every
There's
ship
no
I go on
music.
to, guaranteed.
why.
Yeah, honestly, every ship I've ever gone on, and regardless of brand, Carnival brand, Royal brand, Virgin, guaranteed the casino bar is where all the gossip and all the drama is you're going to find roll out. I love it. I love hanging out at a casino bar. To the point that when I'm on Virgin now, I literally leave the manor to go to the casino bar to stand there for about 20 minutes just to kind of go like, oh yeah, I saw that. I'm terrible for now.
It's the only, I would never go to a casino on land. I think they're seedy. I hate them. Unless you're in Vegas. In Vegas, yes. But I mean, I once went to one in Manchester. It was like, get me out of here. I hated it. I was scared. But I think it's all a bit more James Bond on a cruise. I like the way that everyone's dressed up and it's just, and especially on black tie night, I love it. So I like that whole
Yeah,
atmosphere. I don't like losing money, so I don't gamble much.
yeah. No,
But
I'm the same.
yeah,
I do a little bit.
but there's also on NCL, there's an amazing Harley Davidson bar, and it's I
Okay.
can't brew house. I can't remember what it's called. Brew. Anyway, it doesn't matter. It's all Harley Davidson style. It's got a photo booth in there. You can take photos.
Really?
And the piano man's always in there, but it's also a brewery, and they brew. I don't know,
Yeah.
loads. They have like a big menu, and they've got all the vats in the bar, so it's actually a brewery as well. So that was
Nice. Yeah.
we loved it in there. That was brilliant.
Yeah. I was impressed actually in hindsight when I look back at kind of the time I went on board. The weather was miserable, so I think it added to the whole this isn't really a holiday vibe. It was just absolutely bucketing down outside the ship. So we're kind of going around the pool area, just hiding between rain clouds. But I was really impressed by just how different all the spaces felt on NCL. Just every space felt different. It didn't feel like I was in one long corridor at the same bar. It was all like I say, one was a really traditional pub style where it felt like a pub. Another one felt like an upscale, like cosmopolitan lounge. I just loved the fact that it felt different as I was walking around the ship.
Was it an inaugural you were on?
No, it was a ship visit in Southampton. It wasn't anything. Yeah.
Right.
I've got pictures. I can never remember the name of the ship. And I got told off by my sales manager the day. She was just like, oh, Getaway. I was on Getaway. There you go. I looked it up to check.
Right. So it's like the Bliss and Encore then.
Yeah.
Very
Like
much
I
like
was
them,
impressed
yeah,
with it, definitely. I just think I would have enjoyed it more if the weather was nicer and I could have enjoyed the pool deck more. The pool deck felt really dark and cold, and I can't decide if that was because you were literally bucketed it down with rain. As you kind of like, they're like, this is the adult only area, and I'm like, this would be lovely if it was warm, but it's not. It's raining
Do you
constantly.
know what though? I wasn't a big fan of the pool deck on NCL. There was an adult area, but we didn't book in time, so we couldn't get in there.
Yeah.
But we spent all of our time on the promenade deck because I don't know if you remember, but the promenade all opens up. So all the bars, you've got bars and restaurants all the way along.
Again, it was raining, so we kind of stuck our head out and went, oh, yep, there's a promenade, and then stuck our head back in. But
they're
that's the thing, I
definitely
think
sunny shifts.
Well, yeah, and it depends on like the itinerary, I guess. And if you're going on to the itinerary with the expectation, like Alaska possibly or Norway, that the weather may not be great, you're booking knowing that. I think it's that whole thing in there is just. I think sometimes bad weather doesn't showcase a ship in its best element. I think that was the downside to that. My ship visit with NCL, but hopefully I'll be on at some point to try and experience. I'm actually debating whether or not to book a Caribbean NCL cruise to experience it, just kind of get that Caribbean experience, but with NCL just to try them out.
I enjoyed it. I think sometimes you always go back to one brand. I don't know. Well, because you like it, obviously. But
no, and this is the thing in it. Like, there's a certain degree of comfort in kind of a shoe that fits, so you know what you're going to get into. You know the service. You know how it's all going to work. And we're going to do this episode one day, but loyalty plays a big part as well in your deciding decision making. If you're going to get extra perks because you've sailed loyally, that's why they offer them at the end. To keep you, as they say, loyal to royal. I'm trying to think of the equivalent for Virgin, and I haven't found one that's not appropriate yet to kind of share. It's to kind of the loyal to royal, or the Virgin fan club type of thing. But it does play a big part in deciding factors. Our Disney status as well. We're not particularly high with Disney, but it means we're getting a jump up over some people when it comes to treating ourselves on board by booking the specialty dining. We get a head start that other people don't get, and it makes a big difference to your desire to want to sail with that cruise line.
And do you not find that? I mean, for me, obviously we've talked about this before, it's like ports are a big factor, but then definitely for my April cruise, it was all about the ship because I just wanted to get
Yeah.
onto Allure because I loved Oasis and Allure is going to be all shiny and new. But
Yep.
so I like to do the different ships as well to see what the differences are.
Well, that's one thing I was going to ask you about. So, because obviously you've sailed quite a number of royal ships now as well, and you've got experience of multiple classes now. You obviously still get that same royal experience. You still know you're on a Royal Caribbean ship, but they feel very different, don't they? You can go on, say, like the Oasis class. I've done Oasis and Quantum, but you've done more than that. You obviously still get the royal hallmarks like the promenade, but the layout and the vibe is going to be very different by each class of ship.
Yeah, I'd say Quantum is like it is a class of its own, and Quantum Ultra, so they're completely different. I think the downside of them are the pools, definitely.
Yeah.
They're just
Yeah.
not big
Yeah.
enough. The outside
Yeah.
space isn't big enough. But then Oasis is just like a bigger version, really, of all the Voyager and the Freedom now, because they've updated the older ships. So you've got your promenade, and so
Yeah.
Oasis class, you've got that. Plus you've got the promenade. Plus you've got. So I just think it feels royal. You've got that same experience, but you've got. I mean, if you're watching on video, I mean that slide. Who'd have thought I'd have been so obsessed with the slide?
It's so
I
much fun,
thought
though, isn't it?
I might go down it. And I've said it in the last podcast. We were going from the Sweet Lounge, walking through the pool area, and sliding down to the bar to have a drink. We never took the lift. We would slide down. It was just fun. It's about being young in yourself, isn't it? I mean, I'm 53, but I'm not. I might be middle aged, but I'm still young at heart and young. So you don't.
Yeah.
I did the zip wire. I wanted to do all those things. Some people don't want to go on and do it, but we started a trend on that because everybody was sliding down. And I think they'd have felt like they were too adult before, but everybody was doing it by the end of the holiday. But if there was kids on, you probably wouldn't, would you? Because you wouldn't queue up with the kids. But then I did
I
for the
would.
flow rider. I did for the flow
I
rider.
would. Yeah, I totally
But
would.
yeah, it's about being young at heart. And do you know what blew my mind about that ship? And actually, I went to see a show in Manchester last night. The new Now that's what I call musical. It's all 80s. And
Yeah.
I think there's a real. I mean, the Aqua show was phenomenal. It blew
Yes.
my mind
Yeah.
that they could do that on a
Yeah.
ship.
Because that's the thing, isn't it? Like, it's you've got so many nightlife entertainment venues, as in theatre venues on board the Oasis class. You've obviously got the ice rink, you've got the aqua theatre, and you've got the main theatre as well. And, okay, they'll do a signature show in each one of those, but you're getting not just kind of 3 different theatre shows, you're getting 3 different concepts of the type of show you can watch. You're watching an ice skating production, and, with a water production, which if nobody's been on an Oasis class ship and seen an aqua theatre production, you don't know what you're in for. There's nothing like it at sea type of thing. It's so incredible.
There's nothing like it anywhere.
No,
Is there? There's
no,
nothing-
it's
no.
so amazing. And that's exclusive to Royal. Royal pioneer that whole concept type of thing. But then you still got the main theatre as well, where they do their Broadway and their signature productions as well. So you've got so much entertainment potential if you're someone who loves theatre shows or theatre productions, stage productions. Royal, I don't think anyone can touch Royal at the moment when it comes to kind of their stage productions.
No, I mean, when we go on Allure, I am so excited. Mamma Mia. I've seen it about
Is it
4
Mamma Mia?
times. Yeah, but Chris actually has seen it with me, but he's going to go and see that whether he likes it or not, because I'm not seeing that. I won't make him go and do all the other stuff, but he's going to see Mamma Mia because I love it. So, and it's just stuff like that. I mean, cats. A lot of people on Oasis, it's Marmite. You either love it or hate it. And a lot of people are moaning about it. I think it's pure theatre. It's not.
Yeah.
More. It's not like Hairspray or Grease, or it's not as much of an entertainment show as it's art because it's poetry. I loved it, but I mean, it's not for everybody. But then Back to the Future's going on, isn't it? Which
ship now?
going?
I don't know.
It's either Star. It's one of the new ones. They've announced that Back to the Future's going on.
Probably Star then. I think there's one more Oasis class and then Star's the next ship. So it's probably going to be, it is. It's Star of the Seas. So it's kind of debut with Star of the Seas, which again, though, that's the cool thing. And NCL do a similar program as well, but where they bring on full, West End productions. You're not watching a cruise version of it where you're watching an abridged version. You're watching the full production of these, famous shows. I know NCL do Six the Musical, which is one of my favorite shows ever. So you can go watch the full production of Six on board. You can watch Back to the Future, which has not long been running in the West End and Broadway, and you can watch the full production on board the cruise line.
I saw the premiere of that. I was at the premiere of Back to the Future.
Really?
The day before we got locked down for COVID. And I went to the
Really?
theatre to that, and it was packed because we went to the Ivy for dinner, and the
Yeah.
Ivy was dead. And they said, "Yeah, everybody's staying away." And then we went in there because they'd all come over from America, and it was like, what's it called? Christopher Lloyd was there. It was
Yep.
like mega because it was like and it was in Manchester because that's where we get to try out all the new shows in
Yeah.
Manchester, and then they go on to London. And yeah, the next day we got locked down, but it's have you seen it? It's incredible.
No, we don't really go to the theatre as much as we want. Like that's why I love cruising because we do get the chance to actually go to the theatre more than we do at the moment. One thing I want to touch upon though as well is because my experience of small ship versus large ship is kind of the Disney thing. So I've done Disney on the Magic, and I'm just going to go back to my other screen where I've got this open. I got to find it now. I've got so many tabs open. But here we go, because this is the point that. So I've done like the Disney Magic. That was my second ever sailing. She's got a capacity of 2,700 and she's got 875 staterooms. The Disney Fantasy then, which is my original first ever cruise ship, she's got 4,000 and she's got a stateroom capacity of 1,250. She's near enough kind of almost a third bigger type of thing. But
Mm,
the actual experience on board is the same on both ships. You just get less
mm.
venue space. So you've still got the same 3 main dining rooms. You're still going to go watch a theatre production show every night. You're still going to have D Lounge, the family lounge. You're still going to have the adult lounge. There's just slightly more ancillary options. So, for example, like the Magic has one specialty dining, whereas the Fantasy has 2 specialty dining for adult only type of stuff. The adult only area on the Fantasy is 2 stories, whereas on the Magic it's 1 story type of thing. But you're still going to have a lot of similar experiences on it, kind of where you're going to find the coffee shop. Yeah, I forgot what it's called now, Quiet Cove Cafe. You're still going to have the lobby, just the lobby on the Fantasy, and the Dream is bigger, a lot bigger. It's like an extra story high type of thing, and it's double the width. So you're still getting that same experience, I think, if you're sailing within a brand on a large or smaller ship within their fleet. It's going to be a little bit more intimate, a little bit smaller. So it's not like as if a small ship is bad. It's just it's smaller. There's less of it. Another sounds
Some
obvious, but
some people don't want to be around too many people though, do they? So that works for them
no.
as well.
Hmm.
And it's when you get off at the port, obviously there's more people getting off. You've got a bigger port, so it's your port
Yeah,
experience as well. So what are the
yeah.
bigger Disney ships called? The Wish and the
So they've got at the moment 3 classes of ship. They've got the Magic
right,
class, which is the original
yeah.
ship they launched with about 30 years ago. Then they got the second class, which is the Dream and the Fantasy. So the Dream class, that is about 4,000. Then the current class, it was originally called the Triton class before it launched, but when the Wish launched, they rebranded it to the Wish class. So there are currently 2 ships in service, with another 2, I believe, coming. Maybe another 3. I can't remember. They've announced so many ships. So the Wish class, then you've got the Disney Wish, the Treasure, you've got the Adventure. Not the Adventure. You got the Destiny. Oh, I can't remember the last one. Because then there's also the Shanghai ship as well, which is a totally different experience altogether. That's also launching as well. I believe that's the Adventure. I can never keep up. They've got so many ships launching.
So how busy are they out of term time? Disney.
Well, I don't know, because I wasn't paying attention to kind of occupancy rate, but I've been on the Magic and she was, I believe, 2,200 when I did the Magic, and it never once felt full. Granted, we weren't full of kids, and this was
That's
in
yeah,
October. There
right.
was transatlantic, wasn't full of kids, so it didn't feel busy. And then equally, I've done the Fantasy from the Caribbean in November. It wasn't, was it? It was close to Thanksgiving. She was busy, but it didn't feel unpleasant, if you get what I mean. Like, definitely the character greetings, there was a long line for the character greetings. But again, there are so many spaces, and they don't do the whole cram people on, because given the size of the ship, the occupancy rate is still good from kind of a guest to space ratio type of thing. So again, Disney, you're paying a big premium. So they definitely don't cram you in on the ships type of thing to make you feel like you're kind of squashed in. And again, because it's not a adult cruise line, being an adult only couple worked in our favor, whereby the adult spaces are quite empty compared to maybe the kids spaces. But even then, I never really felt like the pool area was unpleasantly busy. It was just busy.
Is there an adult pool?
Yes, there is. On all their ships, there's an adult-only pool. Depends on which ship is how big it is. On the Fantasy, there's 2, technically. There's a pool you can go into with a
Mm.
swim-up bar. And then there's also like what they call satellite falls on the Fantasy, whereby it's like more of a splash pool you can sit in to cool down. And then on the Magic, there is another pool area around Quiet Cove type of thing with hot tubs and that as well.
And what about outside spaces?
Loads. absolutely loads. You've obviously got the promenade deck lower down as well, but then around the pool area as well. You've obviously got the outdoor pool area for adults type of thing. And then on the Fantasy and the Dream, you've got the sitting area for adults as well around Satellite Falls area with their own bar. The main pool, depends on the ship, is whether there's one or two pools. They usually have like the Mickey pool and the Goofy pool or the Donald pool type of thing. So one of them will have the main pool where they do all the stage productions for Sail Away and Pirate Night and all that type of stuff. But that's also where Funnel Vision will be. So that's where, you'll watch the movies Under the Stars type of thing on Disney as well. So that's the main pool where they've got all the food as well. So like boiler bites and all that type of stuff. That's all around the pool area.
So there's a Shanghai ship as well.
Yes, yeah. She's a bit of an anomaly, and she is called the Adventure. Sorry, I was right in my head. I always doubt it because they've launched so many at the same time. She will be, by occupancy, so I've been told, the largest ship in the world by occupancy. So Icon is bigger in regards, yes, because of the number of berths per cabin. So the majority, because she was purpose built for China, there's like 4 berths in pretty much every cabin. So from an occupancy point of view, she will be the highest occupancy ship sailing when she launches. Just it won't sell. Well, saying that, it's the launch sold out, and Chinese New Year for 2026 is sold out pretty much. But yeah, she will be the largest by occupancy. It wasn't purpose built by Disney. It was a global dream ship that the factory, something to do with the factory went out of business type of thing. So Disney bought the ship for, by comparison, they bought it for like 20% of the price they would have paid if they were building it from scratch. And they've adapted it to be part of the Disney Cruise Line family. She is sailing exclusively from China for about 5 years, at least. We know she's probably going to do longer than that, but they've only committed to 5 years contract for now. And she is, as far as I know, from what I've sold and what I've seen, she's only doing sea days, quite literally. She goes out to sea for 3-4 days and comes back. But this ship's incredible. If you think like the Oasis class of ship, but with Disney, where it's got like a roller coaster on it, like the Carnival ships have got the roller coaster, pools, you've got the promenade, like they call it I forgot what it's called, but like an enchanted garden with a Disney garden in the middle of it instead of Central Park. There's a lot of similarities design-wise because that's what happens with modern cruise design, but all done with a Disney spin.
It's a shame that then it's not going places.
Yeah,
but
it'll be
saying that,
interesting.
would I want to go on a ship? Now we're saying big ship, small ship, but that's not as big a ship. It's got more people on, so that I don't know if I'd like it.
No, that's what I'm interested. I've got customers sailing on it. They're going on quite literally in the launch couple of months. So I always hear from them kind of what they think about it. It is a bit of an anomaly in the Disney cruise plan. I don't think it was ever really in the plan. It's just an opportunity that came up for them to purchase this ship. And China is an expanding market for the Disney company. This is such my nerd thing, sorry, with my other hobby, Disney. But with Shanghai Disney, Hong Kong Disney, and Tokyo Disney expanding and becoming more and more popular, it makes perfect sense for them to kind of expand the Disney cruise offering to the Chinese audience. Equally as well, though, the company that owned Tokyo Disney, they've also ordered a Wish-class ship as well. So there's going to be another Wish-class ship exclusive to the Japanese market, sailing at the moment year-round from Japan type of thing as well. And that's going to be owned and operated by the Oriental Land Company, which is how they run Tokyo Disney as well. It's actually a franchise technically. Disney have no say in the day-to-day operation of Tokyo Disney. It's all franchise, and they have to buy all the attractions and shows and everything from the American company, but it's all completely operated by the Japanese company. This Wish class for Japan will be exactly the same as well. So that's one to look out for as well if you're a Disney fan.
I'm intrigued, and I mean, you know my feelings on this. I want to, but I don't. Because I don't want to go on it be full of kids, and I love kids and families, but obviously my kids are grown up now. So I don't want it to be like so Disney centric. But then I am obsessed with Disney, and I'd the Haunted Mansion bar and things like that. I want to try, so that's what makes me want to do it, is curiosity to see what they do for the adult market.
Like, I'm biased. I'm a big Disney fan. My company's called Magical Traveler, after all. Like, it's very inspired by my love of Disney travel. But I do think Disney do such a fantastic job of catering to adults on board their ships as well. And definitely, if you wanted to go on a more adult-centric cruise experience, pick the older ships now. And that includes now the Dream of the Fantasy, because they are technically 15 plus years old now. They are going to be kind of the ships that more the seasoned cruisers are likely to pick over the Wish and the Treasure now, because they're kind of the new shiny thing. That's where the families are now going to be gravitating to. The older ships also have better adult-only spaces. The Wish and the Treasure and the Destiny, the new Wish-class ships, have had, I wouldn't say negative feedback, but they haven't had the best feedback at the moment with regards to kind of the adult spaces compared to what had come before. It's like a bit of a downscale, because we had like this adult district that had 6 lounges and bars. The Wish spreads them out. The bars aren't, or you don't have a district. You have bars here and there and everywhere. And they say like the pool area is at the back of the ship, hidden out of the way. So they just say like there's a bit of a downgrade compared to what has come before. So I would just say if you want to go as an adult-only couple, definitely the Wish and the Wonder. They're smaller, they're more intimate. They're less likely to have so many kids because it's not as big. You can't fit as many on. And then again, the Wish, the Dream and the Fantasy equally. Again, they're bigger. They're 4,000 capacity, stunning ships. My favorite ship I've ever been on is the Disney Fantasy. Perfect layouts. If you were to build it perfect layout for a ship, Disney Fantasy, just one big loop. Everything, every deck, it's just one big loop. You cannot get lost on that ship. It's so easy to navigate. I think there's loads. You've got adult only, like I say, the 2-story adult only space with their own hot tubs, their own pool, their own swimmer bar, 6 bars in the kind of Europa, or I forgot what it's called on the other ship, the Dream, but they've got kind of the adult only district. Amazing, perfect ship for me is the Dream and the Fantasy.
Amazing.
So I'm getting quite passionate. Now. You can tell I'm keen to try and book a Disney cruise, can you? I'm like, I'm so close to it. I've literally almost put a deposit down 4 times, but I keep changing my mind on what we're doing.
Was it Japan you want? Oh no, what are you doing Japan with then? That was Holland and America.
No, we don't know about Japan yet. We want to do Japan. At the moment, it's likely to be Royal. At the moment, but we're waiting for them to launch. I think we're in the same situation as you. We're both waiting for Royal to announce what they're doing with Japan for 26, 27. So until they
forever. It's like
it's still coming soon.
I know it's been coming soon forever.
Yeah,
I feel like like a kid waiting for Christmas on their birthday. That's how I feel like. And do you know what it'll do? Because last time I was away, I was waiting for the April sailings, wasn't I? Yeah. And it didn't release till I was on a holiday. They'll do that next time again. It's like they go when Sarah on a holiday, right?
Yeah, I'll probably be on holiday myself. That's when they do it. Yeah, when normally happens to me when I'm on a cruise on a holiday trying to switch off. Then I'm like, oh, by the way, we're just launching all the new itineraries. Thanks. So, guys, I know once again we didn't really even have a plan with this episode, but I know it's something me and Sarah we talked about all the time, type of thing. We know what we like, and I think it's just more empowering you to not be afraid to try something. Don't be afraid to try one of the largest ships like the Oasis class or the World class by MSC. Even big ships like Odyssey of the Seas, she's classed as a big ship compared to the scale of what ships can go to. Azamara, 700 capacity, that's small. You can get smaller again than that type of thing. Don't be afraid to try them because you never know. You may fall in love with a small ship and having that more intimate kind of, port intensive experience that you can only get on a smaller ship. You may also fall in love with a large ship, as Sarah has recently done by going on the Oasis class first time. She loves Royal anyway, but you didn't think you would have as good a time on an Oasis class ship as you thought you would have. And you've learned that by trying it.
Definitely. I really thought, I was rolling my eyes when Icon came out. I thought, that is ridiculous. Now, I'd quite like to go on it because it just shows, never judge until you try.
No. Absolutely. I think that's what I wanted to get out of this, was just to kind of empower people a little bit more to not be afraid to try a different class or size of ship that you may think you will like, because I think you'll be surprised. And then once you've done it, for sure then as well that you do or don't like that type of thing. So I'm trying to teach that to myself. I'm afraid of booking a small ship cruise. So I'm trying to think of one that I could do to see if I would actually like it more than I think I would. So don't be afraid to try it and don't be put off by either end of the scale because you may actually have a nice time. I hope it's been helpful, at least anyway, guys. I know it's gone kind of all over the place. You've talked about anything and everything between. But if you ever are interested in booking a cruise with myself, you can find me anywhere online under magical-traveler.com, or you can find all my social media as well under magical TRVLR. And then Sarah, I know you've got a ton of guides as well online. You've got kind of all the royal ships ranked by size and class as well, haven't you, as well as celebrity. Do you want to let the guys know where they can find that?
Yep, you can find us at Cruising with Kids. It's cruisingkids.co.uk, and at TikTok we're the same. I think Instagram we're Cruising for All, and Cruising with Kids on Facebook. And if you want hints and tips for family travel, then do join our Facebook group, because as I say, there's 10,000 parents in it, and there is no judgment. And if people judge, they're booted out, because we don't have that over there. People need a safe space to ask questions, and hopefully that's what it is.
Yeah, definitely. That's the thing, innit? There's no right or wrong with cruise. There's what's right or wrong for you personally. So don't be afraid to ask, and don't be afraid to kind of have conversations like this. That's why we love this podcast, so we can kind of go off on a tangent and just pros and cons of everything and share what we like. Anyway, guys, we hope you've enjoyed it, and we'll definitely see you on the next episode anyway. Take care. Bye.